It is time for a new tier list video, as we had a few balance patches and of course also a new Pokemon in Rapidash, which also has been nerfed. So gonna see where I put it in this tier list. I think some of you can maybe guess it, but I think a lot of players think Rapidash is actually not that great of a Pokemon. And when I see my teammates play it, you know, it does look kinda weak, not going to lie. As always, we have two tier lists. At the top, we have the top and bot path tier list, which just means if you pick a Pokemon in top or bot path, how do they perform across the entire game? And to the right, we have the Central Area tier list. I'm gonna try to fill out both at the same time. Also, just quickly, I want to plug one of my new channels where I'm currently uploading auto chess games, CrisHeroes MOBA. I would really appreciate if you're interested in the Pokemon Unite auto chess version to check out that channel. So let's get right into it. We're gonna do it from row to row, which I think actually looks the best as well. So we're gonna start with Attacker Pokemon first. Venusaur, honestly, is just a pretty Pokemon in the middle right now. Again, as always, I say it every single time, Attacker Pokemon are not in a great spot. So Attacker Pokemon do struggle and definitely are one of the weakest, or probably actually the weakest row right now, because I think Allrounder, Speedster, Defender, Supporter are all better than Attacker Pokemon. So it's definitely the worst row in the game right now. But of course it's still fun and you still play Pokemon that can definitely carry games. Pikachu I just a bit higher just because it has a bit more utility and you have multiple different ways of playing it, right? Also, of course, for jungle at the same time, Venusaur also. I mean, I think Paladin's Giga Drain is a strong rank build, so I'm going to put it down here. And Pikachu definitely should not be played in Central Area, even though your teammates like doing it. Ninetales, I feel like also just has fallen off a tiny bit. The Mage build doesn't seem that great right now. Veil is, of course, a decent build, which I put into C tier. I think I only put into C tier because I think Veil can be a good Central Area Pokemon if you're bored, if you want to play something a bit different. It's definitely something you can do. But Ninetales is okay, nothing too crazy. But again, B+ means you can pick these Pokemon. Anything about B and above means you can play those Pokemon. And if you're good at them, you can definitely perform and carry. Like anything in B and B+ tier can still carry games and be a very important way to win games. Mewtwo Y got a small nerf, but I would say it's probably still A+, while in Jungle it's going to drop it down from A+ to A. But then again, Central Area Mewtwo just feels painful to play anyways. Mew is again a good Pokemon for tournaments. If you're not a tournament player, it is not great, but I think I'm going to put into B+ at least. I think B+ is fine. And in Central Area going into the B tier. Then we have Espeon, also just a solid Pokemon. Nothing to write home about though, but Psyshock or Stored Power Psybeam. Actually, probably not. It's still A tier, I would say. I think Espeon is one of those attacker Pokemon you can always pick and do well with. Doesn't matter if you play Psyshock, Psybeam, or Stored Power Psybeam, depending what the enemies have. You can always have a good time. But in Central Area has definitely fallen off though. Gardevoir, I just made a video about it. I think Gardevoir is just a overall decent Pokemon. Can't put it higher than B+ though, but I think in Jungle it can definitely be A with Psyshock and Moonblast. Glaceon Path is not a great Pokemon. I think in Central Area it's still pretty decent, and I'm going to put it higher than other attacker Pokemon. Icy Wind is great, Icicle Spear. I've never understood why Icicle Spear has a bad win rate for how much Glaceon can do. And just having the passive also, like that bit of a shield for stuns, can be very good. Next up we have Chandelure, and I think playing Chandelure is quite a struggle right now. I do like Chandelure, but man, like even getting to level 5 sometimes takes ages. Of course it's great if you have an XP share support with you, but I feel like Chandelure definitely has dropped due to just being way too squishy and just not having any mobility or something, right? Of course Imprison is great, but I think that just doesn't save the Pokemon. Delphox in lane, it just takes a bit too much time. It's still okay, but I think I do prefer the attacker Pokemon over it right now. Same for Central Area. I do think Mystical Fire Flame Charge can do well, but there's too many Speedsters. And if the enemies have like a Talon, a Zoroark, Leafeon or something instantly, and one of the biggest counters up Soul, you just cannot play the game. Greninja in Path, I mean, honestly, I think it can work. I think it's actually better than Cyndais's. Still nothing crazy, but I think sometimes Water Shuriken in a top or bot path can be a viable thing to play if you need some damage like KO tanks or something, if the enemies have a lot of frontline without mobility. While I think its Central Area is actually A tier, I do think its Water Shuriken or Surf both are pretty decent bids right now. Sylveon still, I think I can't put higher than B, while in Central Area C, it's just very mid right now. It's not in a good state. Decidueye joins Greninja in C tier, as if you get Spirit Check-in, if next XP share support, it is pretty good. You know, just gotta snipe, while in Central Area B, again, just same like Chandelure, it's very difficult to play. Lots of Speedsters around, right? Mimikyu is also still very good, so it's not easy for also Rapidash, of course, existing. It's not easy for these squishy attacker Pokemon to play Unite currently. Cinderace, terrible in top and bot path. Mediocre in, I would say, in top and bot path still. I think Cinderace can be okay, can maybe be A, but I feel like A is I guess if there was a B plus in Central Area, I kind of skip the B plus over. It could be in B plus, but yeah, I don't know. You can pick Cinderace, you see One Trick Ponies playing it, but yeah, not the greatest. Inteleon, I think, goes probably back into either A plus or S tier. Got buffed again. Like, I don't see why. I mean, I think it's back to S tier. I wouldn't see why not. And then Central Area probably also back to S tier. They buffed it twice for absolutely no reason. And it has just been the best like attacker again when it comes to top and bot path in general. Cramorant, I think B is fine for this in general. It's just Cram just lost a lot of power. I know they buffed Surf Hurricane, but those buffs don't matter. Same for the Tech Speed buff. Dralladon, definition of mid. And that's where I'm going to put it. Dragapult, also one of the worst top and bot path Pokemon in the entire game. Please do not play it. While in Central Area, also somewhere in the middle. Again, I just can't put too many attacker Pokemon too high. I really just cannot. Even though Dragon Dance, or not Dragon Dance, Phantom Force can be pretty decent. Amarusian Path, B plus I think is fair. Jungle, maybe A. I mean, I think Fire Spin and Psyshock is still a good build that people definitely are not playing as much as it should maybe be played. And for the last attacker, of course, Miraidon, and just gonna put it quick into S tier. They nerfed it a bit, but I think there's is nothing really that rivals it when it comes to attacker Pokemon. You can go Charge Beam, you can go Electro Drift depending on the enemy team comp, and your Unite move just has so much impact that Miraidon will always be useful. Into the all-rounder category, Charizard. Oh man, Charizard has seen better days, definitely. I definitely think it can still be B tier in Central Area just because of its Unite move, so I'm going to keep it there. But yeah, Charizard, a rough spot. Machamp, I think B plus is fair here. Central Area, I can't really recommend it. Next up, we have a Dragonite. Dragonite. Where do we put the Dragonite? Definitely a D tier in top and bot path. And I think Hyper Beam Dragonite is solid A tier still. No one plays it. I think people just don't enjoy playing it. Also, it's a lot of like, you have to get all the last hits objectives or it's bad to pick. So maybe people just don't want to have this much, what's the word for it, on their shoulders. You know what I'm talking about. Gyarados. Gyarados actually... And Gyarados is also a Pokemon that just no one plays, similar to like Dragonite or something. I don't think it's all too bad though, but definitely not in Central Area. Mewtwo X, very mid Pokemon right now. Putting on B plus here and into C tier for maybe a B tier in Central Area. But yeah, cannot recommend. It's very boring and very lackluster. Azumarill, I would put Azumarill personally higher, but I have to leave my personal bias aside and put into B tier or B plus tier, while Central Area definitely into C. Scissors have falling off a lot again. But I think Scissor can easily be B tier depending on what the enemies have in draft. In Jungle, it has also fallen off again. But yeah, it just depends what the enemies have. If the enemies have like something Scissors good against, this Pokemon gains a lot of value. I think it's just a strong late in draft pick, but that's about it. Do not pick it in blind. Scyther a bit higher, B plus in lane, and A tier, maybe even A plus in Central Area, honestly. People are just not very good with it. So, but it's definitely underplayed, for sure. I think A. I think A is fair. Tyranitar. Honestly, I think I've played some Tyranitar in top and bot path now. And I think if you get some more stacks in, you farm a bit, you can definitely always come back into games somehow. And in Central Area, to me, it's an A. Blaziken. I think I'm going to drop it from S to... I don't know where we had it last time. I'm going to put it into A+. Same for Central Area. I think, it has received some nerfs overall, and there's some better Pokemon now, but Blaziken is still, of course, very, very good. Metagross seems pretty good right now, actually. I've played it a bit, I see other people playing it, I've seen it in tournaments. Goes into A on both top, central, and bot path. Lucario, B+, and D tier in Central Area. Garchomp. Now, Garchomp got a nerf, right? I'm going to put back from S to A+, just because, losing 10% crit rate is a lot. So I'm going to put into A+ in top, central, and bot path. And I think that's still pretty good. Aegislash has gotten a lot of value, and I'm personally going to put Aegislash into A+ tier, because I think it's actually pretty good right now, and it's very annoying to be up against. It's getting a lot of tournament play in, it's getting a lot of play in ranked, and it's definitely something you can pick up. Next up, Serena got also nerfed. I don't know if I can put into S tier though, but I think also A+. You can see all these around up there again. And I think Triple X is actually playable in Central Area just because you don't need stacks necessarily in Triple X compared to Stomp. So Triple X is still being the better build and a solid A+. I'm not sure if it's S tier, maybe it's even S tier, but I don't know if I can quite put into S tier. I mean, I feel like I have to if I have Inteleon up here. Maybe, actually, you know what, I'm going to move Inteleon. I don't know. I mean, it's so annoying, but like maybe A+ is more fair for Inteleon too if I put these other into A+. I think that's probably a better look, honestly. I mean, S tier has to be just the best of the best, right? Mimikyu, annoying Pokemon. Yeah, I still hate it in top and bot path, but it's just, Mimikyu is just a frustrating one. Central Area still easily S tier to me. Buzzwole, A in top and bot path. Jungle, I can't really recommend, but I think it could still be like, yeah, I don't know, Buzzwole Jungle just falls off too much. But if you have someone like a lane partner that can take Jungle second rotation, it can work. It can work. Failings is much better than people think. The problem is it just has too many counters. Similar to Scizor. Failings is a Pokemon that if the enemies have a bad comp against it, the better it becomes, right? So it's always just, you have to pick it late in draft, and if you pick it late in draft, it can go up to like somewhere here. Like Failings should not be underrated. I might even put into B+ tier. I do think like people are underestimating Failings for sure. But again, it just has to be picked very late in draft, but then it can be an absolute monster. Zacian received some nerfs, I would say still A+ in both, though. Doesn't matter what. I mean, no, wait, he didn't reserve a nerf. He reserved a buff like 3 patches ago. I don't know if he's S tier or not, but to me, for sure, still A+ at least. Very annoying Pokemon to be up against. Then we have a Dark Urshifu, which, I mean, if you get to level 5 somehow, it's not too bad in lane. To me, it's S tier in Central Area, while Surging Strikes is D tier in lane, and a solid, maybe A+. No, actually, I do think it's pretty decent again, Liquidation Surging Strikes, but I don't want to really put it higher than A tier. Cerulege, not the best top and bot path Pokemon. Definitely better in Central Area, where I think it's A+, while in top and bot path, it's a B+. Just because I think it wants to snowball games very fast. I mean, again, if you have an XP share partner, it can be higher. Otherwise, just, yeah. Actually, maybe it's A. Maybe it's A. Yeah, A is fine. Cerulege is very, very decent. Tinkaton is, for me, probably S tier. The problem is that the better your opponents are, the worse it gets. And so there's a lot of weird games with it. So I think A tier is fine for Tinkaton, while in Central Area definitely should never be played. Next up, we're adding the Speedsters to the mix, where we put Gengar. I mean, I think Hex Gengar in lane again is okay, but Gengar has just fallen off compared to other Speedsters a lot currently, I would say. Has definitely fallen off. Yeah, I'm gonna put it into A for Central Area, and C for top and bot path. Dodrio is always just a good Pokemon, A+, just takes skill to play. But if you know Dodrio, it's a great Pokemon. Absol and Path, I'm not the biggest fan, but I think B is fair for it. While I think, like to me, Absol, if personal bias, I would put into S tier, but I think A+ is definitely a bit more fair. Leafeon has dropped off a lot, but I don't know why. Like, Leafeon's win rate is just bad because I think players are bad. I still find Leafeon insanely frustrating, and I think it should be played more than it is, for sure. So, A+, Central, and A for top and bot path. Still a great ranked solo queue Pokemon too. Darkrai, I don't know. Darkrai is just painful. I don't think it's S tier, but it's definitely A+, I would say. But I guess there's not many S tier Pokemon maybe right now in this patch. I have to actually think, what is S tier? Zoroark, A when it comes to this, and A+ in Central Area. Talonflame, B+ in top and bot path. Just because, like, it just needs a bit more experience, but I do think Talonflame and Path can be played. One of the few Speedsters that's also pretty good there. And Jungle, also A+. You have so much versatility with the Talonflame. You can play it top path, you can play Brave Bird Ace, you can play Fly Ace, you can play Fly Brave Bird, depending on what the enemies have. Talon has a lot of options to go for, which makes it a great Central Area Pokemon too. Zeraora in top and bot path B tier just lacks a bit of early game because Slash is kind of bad. But if the enemies run into you, can definitely destroy people. Like, some people don't understand how much damage Zeraora can do, but if they outplay your Slash, your character's gone. I think Central Area also a solid A tier. Then we have Muscarada. I don't see this Pokemon ever anywhere, but I think A tier is still a solid place to put it. Now Defender. Blastoise seems pretty good to me. Surf Hydro Pump, super annoying. A+, easily. Central Area tier list is done, by the way, just in case you know, right? I'm not putting any Defender or Supporter into the Central Area tier list, so we only continue with the top and bot path. Slowbro, I think just a tiny bit weaker than other Defender, but like not even by a much. It's still a very overpowered Pokemon with one of the best Unite moves in the entire game that can also stop, you know, OP Pokemon from running around. Actually, probably A+. I'm just going to put it into A+ too. Lapras, yeah, I think B+ is fair. I would like to put it into A, but that would be maybe personal bias. No one really plays it much, but I do think it's pretty good. Snorlax, very slept on Pokemon. Great in competitive though, not a good ranked Pokemon necessarily. Definitely needs it just needs a good team to be around. Umbreon, I still put into S tier. Doesn't matter if the Pokemon gets nerfed or not. Just a disgusting Pokemon. Ho-Oh to me goes back into A tier. Fly Flamethrower or Fire Spin Flamethrower feels very strong right now. Has potential to be even higher. Mamoswine joins Snorlax. It's kind of like the same Pokemon, right? They do the same. Heavy Slam, Earthquake into either Block, Yawn, or Ice Fang. Pretty much the same thing. They both have good early game. Like, these Pokemon are actually literally just the same. And Unite move is a big AoE stun. So, it's kind of funny. Like, they're literally the same Pokemon. That's how they're being played. Crustle, I think still B+ tier. Trevenant, easily A+. Just such a frustrating Pokemon. Gudra still probably the worst defender, but like not by a lot. I think it's just still held back. Like, my Gudra's just being held back just by having the problem of needing level 8 still. Like, as long as they fix Gudra's level curve, it would actually be pretty good. And Greedent goes into A. Got nerfed also a few patches ago, but I think A is still fair for Greedent. And now let's sprinkle in some supporter Pokemon. Clefable is a great counter pick. Oh, that's not the right Pokemon yet. Clefable is a counter pick. Rapidash is still going, guys. Rapidash will be the last thing we put into this tier list. But Clefable is outshined by other supports, but it's still a great pick for Gravity sometimes, depending on what enemies have. Wigglytuff, yeah. Definitely just a weaker defender. I don't think Wigglytuff is all too bad, but I don't think I can put it higher than B tier. Psyduck still. Even with the nerfs, it's just so frustrating. Probably, it's just, I mean, it's a weird Pokemon to fit into team comps though, because you kind of have to like not pick a defender then. But Psyduck is the absolute pain. Mr. Mime has fallen off a tiny bit, but I think B+ still works. Blissey, S tier, we all know it, right? Definitely very straightforward. Sableye, B tier. Hooper also probably still S tier. It's just such a... It just has so much on it. Like, the Hyperspace Porting Night move just makes such a big difference. And Comfey into A. And then we have Eldegoss for the last Pokemon into A+. I think I think that's pretty good for the supports, I would say. And now to Rapidash, the last Pokemon on this list. And Rapidash is still OP. Is it God tier? No. Is it S tier? Yes. Are your teammates going to perform with Rapidash? No. Are your teammates looking like Rapidash when you need a buff? Yes. Like, actually, even when Rapidash was OP, I feel like I never had teammates that actually made the Pokemon look good. So, yeah. It's gonna be bigger struggle now. In my opinion, Smart Strike and Gleam is still S tier. Agility Gleam is also still S tier. But even I checked the win rates. Smart Strike had a 10% win rate on the patch when this Pokemon was broken, with a 47% win rate or something. I don't know what people do with this Pokemon. But yeah, I was never impressed with it for any of my teammates. But I'm gonna play it a lot if it's open, and I'm gonna show that it's definitely S tier worthy, which I think I already have anyways. So to me, not God tier anymore, but probably still S tier. I would be shocked if it's not S tier. Hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. Let me know in the comments again, as always, what you agree and what you disagree with the most. I hope to guys see you in the next video. Bye!